What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I wanted to break down what's going on with the overall market and talk about something very important that's going on. I'm also going to break down how the charts are looking in terms of levels and what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break down devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you are guaranteed 7 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, just 3 weeks. Anyways, I want to break down what's happening to the market. So looking at SPY, we've been pushing up very, very nicely. We have this resistance at this 518 zone. We also have this support right here at this 516.8 area and also at 515. But as you guys can see right now, SPY is approaching this very, very tight resistance. And we're doing this amidst the speech of Kashkari. So as a reminder, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today, Kashkari started his speech, and he's actually speaking at the time I'm recording this video. We also had the 42-day bill auction coming out, and at 1 p.m. we have the 3-year note auction. But for Kashkari, I just wanted to say that the speech is going to go on for a while, for like another hour or so. So we have some time right now, and SPY isn't really doing anything too crazy. We're just fighting this 518 resistance. So I'm going to break down more details about this in just a minute. Right now, and what's been said so far is that Kashkari has questioned if rates are high enough to tame prices. That's very, very important. He's talking about how high housing prices may indicate neutral rates is higher, and also that the Fed officials need to set policy based off the current economy. So, in his opinion, a lot of the data is kind of like delayed, and he's also saying that he's not too sure if the way that the Fed's going about things is kind of applicable for the current data. So there's going to be more that's said about his speech. We'll see what he ends up saying, if it kind of affects how SPY moves or not. But as of right now, looking at the chart from a technical standpoint, we are looking a bit more in favor of bulls, at least somewhat for now. We've been pushing up very nicely to this resistance at this 518 area. It's basically the 518 to 518.5 zone, the entire zone right now. And so far, SPY is holding up very, very well. It's holding up very nicely. So even though it is holding up like this, it's great to see. It's great to witness. The thing is, we have to watch and see what's going on with all of this resistance and also how it ends up reacting as time goes on. So right now, we're just kind of dancing at 518. We're just going kind of back and forth and back and forth. Breaking this opens the door all the way up to about this 519.5 area to 520, but we haven't really broken past 518.5 yet. Rejecting off this opens the doors for 516.8, eventually the 515 zone. Overall, we are trying to push right now. We're actually showing some life, but it's still fighting this resistance, so we just have to give this some time and see how it ends up reacting. Now, on the other hand, Tesla is looking a little bit weaker because we had some bad news that came out. Their sales in China have slowed down. The NHTSA is coming after them and asking for more important data. And on top of that, there's been more talk about layoffs, alongside one of their chairwomen selling quite a bit of shares, about $50 million worth of stock this year alone. So all this news is coming out for Tesla. That's why the share price is actually kind of down right now. More negative news than positive news has come out. But Tesla's still range bound. So we have this support at 178. It's trying to hold up very nicely. We have resistance at 182 and 185. And we've been going back and forth for a very, very long period of time. It is possible Tesla dips a bit more, but it hasn't really broken key support yet at 178. So it's not really in that bad of a place. It's still holding support. If we start losing that or close below 178, that's going to be a bad sign. But so far, it hasn't been the case. For Nvda is just trading sideways. So our resistance right now, I'm going to actually pull up the hourly time frame just to kind of show you this. We did see a little dip all the way down to 892, and now we're rebounding a bit. We have resistance at 908 and then 920 above that. We have support at 900, also at around 892. We've been going back and forth and back and forth. We're kind of stuck within this range, and we'll have to wait and see how things end up moving from here. But with that happening, with this range that's kind of here, we have to give Nvidia a little bit more time just to see if this thing could try to break this resistance at 908 and push a little bit more high. So give it some time. If we reject here and start turning, then it depends on the 50 EMA. If you want to turn bearish on the stock, you want to see Nvidia lose 892, and then yes, it's going to start turning downwards. We could be dropping all the way down to the 880s again. If we lose 892, and then for resistance, we're just watching 908 for now. We'll see how well this holds up for the time being. But overall, I just want to call out that Nvidia is kind of stuck in this range, so we have to give this a little bit more time and watch and see. Otherwise, it's still kind of stuck in a range, not really picking a big direction yet. So give it some time. For the triple Q, this is still holding up quite well. Our resistance is at 442, around that area. If you reject here, you're going to be looking for 441 to be retested and move back down to the 439s. If you're bullish, you want to see it break past 442 and start pushing. We're at resistance, so give this some time, and we'll have to wait and see what this ends up doing. So watch and see what the reaction is. We're holding up very well for SPY and the QQQ so far. So it is favoring bulls a bit more. It is trying to like push higher, but it's at tight resistance, so it's not like it's breaking out like crazy, running 10 points or anything like that. It's kind of stuck right now. That's kind of like the way I would view this, kind of very, very choppy. So give it some time, wait and see what the reaction is. Do we get that rejection, or do we kind of hover up here for some time? And we'll see how things go. For Aapl, we're just range bound. So we did get a push up, as we were calling out, up to 184. Now we kind of rejected, but we're still also range bound, exactly as we talked about yesterday as well. We have 182.49 is our resistance, and 181.36 followed by the 50 EMA as our support. Expect to just go back and forth, not really do a whole lot. So it's kind of stuck right now. Nothing too crazy is going on so far. For Amazon, I called out a price target of the 190 area. It is still getting very close to that, so it could push a little bit more, showing some strength relative to the market. So it's looking pretty good, but watch that resistance at 190. And then on top of all of that, we have Meta for, I think it's 472. Let me just double check the resistance one more time. I think 472 is where you have quite a bit of resistance. The 4-hour 200 EMA is going to be tested at the 472 area. So watch to see if we break this or not. That's going to be key for this chart. With that happening, the VIX is trying to lose 13.5. And if anything, we have this gap to fill, so that's going to be very, very key. And we'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening. So watch and see how that ends up moving. Watch and see how this ends up progressing, and we'll give this as much time as necessary. But for now, I just want to say I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so much for listening. And I just want to hope for the best for everyone, just to see how this ends up developing. So once again, one more thing. As a reminder, guys, the market's holding up for now. Okay, the market's holding up very well. But let's see what Kashkari says. Let's see if his speech causes any more volatility, as he's been talking for about 15 minutes now. I wanted to upload this video a lot earlier to give you guys a warning beforehand, but honestly, guys, we're just waiting, and I had a little bit of an issue that caused a delay, but everything's fine. So don't worry, it's going to be okay. For Kashkari, his speech is going to go on for quite a while now, and then we have more auctions coming out later on. So look at that for now. Most of the data is very minor, and we'll see how this ends up affecting the markets. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening again. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I will most definitely see you guys very, very soon, in just a couple of hours, for the next one. All right. So I'm sorry I'm not always on time for everything. Sometimes I do get a little bit caught up with other things. But I'm here right now, and I will try my best to be as early as possible, kind of catch up with the really, really big events, such as like Kashkari's speech and things like that, on time. All right, so I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. I really appreciate every single one of you. Take care, and make sure you're very careful with your trades. The market's at a very, very critical place. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, and peace out.